Everybody, so I wanted to make this video today about why free advice is not good for you when you are on your fitness and nutrition journey. For you and what to do instead. Context. So in the last week or so, I discovered, really went in deep into these Facebook groups where they're like gym baddie, they're like, slim, thick, and energized. They're just like funny titles for these groups. And there's thousands. There was like 42,000 in one particular group, and just in like the last week of me just paying more attention to the group, it grew to like 45,000 people. That's amazing to me. And so I can tell that there's a lot of people who are just like, oh wow, this is such a vibe. I want to be a part of it. Great. And then there's some people who are actually really struggling in their fitness and nutrition journey. And so they're on here like, I need help with this. I've been doing this for the last, month or week or whatever, and it's not changing anything. What do I need to do? And so I'm, just my mind is just blown that there are actually people out there who are really struggling. They need to go to a free Facebook group to get free advice. And that's kind of where I was like, oh, this is not cool. On what I see here, without me even intervening, is there are women struggling to get through these plateaus or get through whatever situation they're in with their fitness and nutrition, and they're seeking free advice from people who, have maybe tried something once and have just been like, I live by this, this is what I do now. And other people that, may or may not actually have some education in this, but there's very less context. There's like no context. There's as much as just like, this is what I've been doing, I'm struggling with this part, blah, 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 blah. And so to be getting free advice, I know that there's a lot of people who cannot financially afford to work with a coach. I know, I'm not saying that that's, the case, like, oh, everybody should be able to. I understand that that's not always the case, and so they seek free advice, and that's community-based, and we're all on the same page. We're all just trying to grow and learn and all that great stuff. But there are some people who are actually looking and just have not realized oh, like I can just rely on a coach and that actually will solve my problem. And so yeah, I was just like, wow, this is both an opportunity for me, of course, because I'm trying to grow my business, but this is an opportunity to show that this is a thing where people, like, this is a service where people can actually just work with a coach and not have to spin their wheels and like have to take the long route to try and figure this stuff out. You don't actually need to just look up a bunch of different free advice that's all out of context, and you just take this and that and this and that and try to see, and all this trial and error and all of that. Calm down. This is kind of a thing. So women really love to find free advice. We love to chat. We love to gather. And I love that about women. There's so many good things that comes out of that. We are just that way. That is our community minded. That is our way of fulfilling our need to speak and feel heard and seen and all that great stuff. And that's amazing. Like, there's no downside to that. And just in this sense where I help people in this arena, I see that when we're struggling with something, we're, willing to ask questions like, I'm stuck on this, what do I do about that? And, whatever. But we start getting a bunch of pieces of advice, and this happens in a lot of areas in our life, financially, socially, all of that. What should we do about our partners and all that kind of stuff? It happens everywhere and everything. And we get a bunch of out of context advice and try to apply it and try to see what happens. Where if you are working with a psychologist, they'll help you, filter that information and say, this is what you actually need to be doing. Or they guide you, right? And so that's kind of what I do as a coach. So I filter that information. I say, this is where you're at, and this is probably the best move of what you should actually be doing based on science, based on where you're at, and based on where you want to be with your goals. So we actually filter through a lot of information. We process a lot of emotions that what men and women are experiencing, and then we procure a plan, and we then hold you accountable. So this is all of what Hatch Services does. I reiterate as to why it's not so great to be going online and just finding a bunch of random advice like, I'm stuck on this, what should I be doing? Because 1, nobody knows your BMR. 2, nobody knows exactly what you've actually been doing. 3, no one's looking at your data and you may or may not even be actually tracking whether you are or not. There's so many factors and there's so many things that goes into actually progressing and actually changing your body and losing body fat and gaining muscle and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot. And so to just bring your situation to the internet and say like, what do I need to be doing, and then to just be told like 37 different comments of like, you should try this, oh you should try this, oh it worked great for me, and blah 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 blah. It's a lot and it's too much for some people. Like I have actually DM'd a couple of these women and have said like, did that actually help? Did any of those comments like actually help you? And a lot of them have said like, oh no, that all just went right over my head and I have no idea. And then I said, would you like some help? And I was like, they were like, yes please, that would be great, because I don't know what the heck, I'm so new to all of this, I could really use your help. My ears. And that is obviously exactly what makes more sense, right? Is to actually work with someone who can just kind of filter through the information and then just say, all right, this is what you need to do in order to go from here to here. So with Hatch Services, we have a roadmap from getting from where you are to where you want to be. If you would like to learn more about that, message me, comment down below, and let's get a consultation together. Peace out.